That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 800-786-9161. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-786-9161. Remember, 1-800-786-9161. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Columbo and Katie.
On Tuesday, more fallout from the Twitter files and the recommendations released by the January 6th committee. We'll discuss all that and more with Crane Durham from NothingButTruth.com.
Weekdays at 2 on NewstalkSTL.
If you believe Brandon and the supply chain issues are still in crisis, or even if you don't, hurry into Southern Armory, your Second Amendment headquarters, for the best selection of firearms, suppressors, holsters, ammunition, pepper spray, and knives. Browse through our constantly changing inventory, order something special, or have us repair or modify that firearm that you've been putting off. Try our firearms training simulator. See the demo video on our website. Come into Southern Armory, 9901 Watson Road, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, at southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
Do you live in St. Charles County? Then you can get Mid-Rivers News Magazine delivered free to your home just by asking for it. Mid-Rivers News Magazine is the only print source for the political, school, business, and sports news happening in your hometown. Simply visit midriversnewsmagazine.com/subscribe to get a copy delivered to your mailbox. Or you can pick up a free copy at all area Deerbergs and Schnuck stores. Mid-Rivers News Magazine. Anybody who wants it gets it. Anybody who gets it wants it. Subscribe for free today.
Psst, Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
What are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
Well, what are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. Don't you remember me? Don't you know that we miss you?
Miss me? Who misses me?
You know, all your friends in the forest. The trees, the pond, that little fort that you made out of branches. We all miss you.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
The forest is not that far away. Have an adventure today. I'm sure your mom would take you.
You're right. I should get out. I want to have fun. Play in puddles, catch frogs, and climb trees. Hey, Mom!
Yeah, hon? Steven, what is that in your hand?
It's my sense of adventure, Mom. It's telling me we need to get out of the house and have some fun in nature today.
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, how you doing? Santa Vic here.
And Santa's head Vic head here.
Right. And you can win some great prizes with Newstalk STL's St. Louis Conservative Christmas.
You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
What?
You forgot the ho-ho-ho.
Oh!
No, ho-ho.
Oh!
A St. Louis Conservative Christmas. Log on to NewstalkSTL.com for your chance to win. Brought to you in part by the Great Harvest Bread Company in Maplewood, the St. Louis Ballet, and St. Louis Union Station.
Oh!
All the way?
You always did know how to make me laugh.
Or will love be sidelined once again?
Thought you were leaving.
Actually, there's been a slight change of plans.
Christmas at the Greenbrier, streaming now exclusively on Fox Nation. Sign up now and get 50% off all yearly plans.
Now, a look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. I'm Ted Lindner with a Fox News Rundown. The lifting of Title 42 has been delayed. Fox's Kevin Cork with the details.
The United States Supreme Court has stepped in to, at least for now, allow the policy to remain. Cities along the U.S.-Mexico border have been absolutely scrambling in preparation of a possible surge of illegal immigrants if Title 42 were to end, with DHS estimating that the number of daily arrivals could then top some 14,000. But the White House is passing the buck. They say it's Republicans who should shoulder the blame for the crisis, especially if the officials in the Biden administration don't get the $3.5 billion that they want to throw at the problem.
The Department of Homeland Security says it'll continue preparations to manage the southern border in a safe way. The January 6th committee on Monday filing 4 criminal referrals asking the Justice Department to file charges against former President Trump and others for obstruction, conspiracy to defraud, and aiding an insurrection.
Ours is not a system of justice where foot soldiers go to jail and the masterminds and ringleaders get a free pass.
Committee member Congressman Jamie Raskin there. The former president has continually called the probe a political witch hunt. AAA reporting gas prices continue to come down across the country, now averaging $3.14 a gallon.
That's down from $3.68 1 month ago, amid lower demand and increasing supply. In the winter driving season, when fewer people are hitting the roads, though drivers are welcoming the cheaper gas prices ahead of the busy holiday travel season.
And that is Fox's Jeff Manasso with the report. Ukraine preparing for a potential attack as Russian forces launch more missiles upon the country's capital city. Fox's Nate Foy has the very latest from Kyiv.
Ukraine says 5 of a total 35 Iranian-made Shahed drones evaded air defense, damaging critical infrastructure, injuring 3 people, and leaving 3 Kyiv districts entirely without power. This on the same day that Russian President Vladimir Putin met with his regional ally, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. Russian soldiers conducted drills as Ukraine prepares for the possibility of Belarus entering the war directly or again allowing Russia to attack Ukraine from the north.
The war almost 10 months old now, beginning back at the end of February. And there's a recent poll out from the Wall Street Journal that says 48% of registered Republican voters say the U.S. is doing too much to provide aid to Ukraine. The latest Fox News poll is out that finds most Americans think it was a bad year, but not as many Americans think that this year was a bad year compared to the last 2. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal explains the details on that.
52% of those polled said 2022 was a bad year, but the year before, that number was a bit higher, and in 2020, about 2/3 of us thought it was a bad year. This year, 2/3 of us did think the country had a bad year, and more Republicans felt that way than Democrats. Again, this poll found the economy is the most important issue facing the country, and just about 3 in 4 said inflation's caused hardship over the past 6 months, with the same amount saying inflation's impacting holiday shopping. When it comes to holiday gatherings, 21% said they'd avoid spending time with those whom they disagree with politically. Democrats said this more than Republicans by 9 points. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
And I'm Ted Lindner. This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and NewstalkSTL.com. Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at NewstalkSTL.com.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis city streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican Pat Curtis, Farber Treasurer.
If you're concerned about the current market and the 40-year record high inflation that we're seeing, you're not alone.
Credit card usage skyrocketing and at record highs, savings rates plunging.
It's 100% certainty that you're in recession now.
The good news is, for decades, Steve All and his team have been helping people just like you protect and grow your income. And most importantly, not run out of money.
My clients that are currently sitting there on guaranteed incomes, they're not really worried about what's happening in the market. So they're more at peace because every month that paycheck comes in.
Call Steve today for your customized market protection plan, 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Hey, it's Vic. Everyone here at News Talk STL is incredibly grateful for the growth in our business during the first 18 months since we signed on the air. We appreciate the great local businesses like Southern Armory, Rhino Shield, Steph's Pizza, and the Walner team that have become one of our many advertising partners. If your business is interested in becoming part of the News Talk STL family, simply send an email to info@newstalkstl.com. We have a wide variety of affordable advertising options. And thanks for listening to News Talk STL. Welcome home.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
What citizen wouldn't want to make America great again?
Live and local.
And their leadership has been substandard.
I think the word substandard is immensely polite.
This is News Talk STL.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, no question there is a concerted effort to intimidate and silence conservative thinkers and replace our God-given individual liberty with big government controls. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits and all kinds of great content. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. On this Tuesday, over the weekend, correspondent Martha Raddatz of ABC grilled Governor Abbott of Texas about the border disaster. Ms. Raddatz, a liberal woman, said that President Biden has never said the border is open, and heavily implied it was Abbott and other Republicans making a false charge, one that is encouraging migrants to come to the border. That analysis is almost breathtakingly foolish. From the very day of his inauguration, Joe Biden has failed to obey U.S. immigration law that requires asylum seekers to present themselves at ports of entry. Instead, migrants who get across the border any way they can are being allowed entry to the USA simply for requesting asylum anywhere. That's against the law. Now, I know Martha Raddatz, and she's a smart woman who has to know what the law is. So I can only assume this is another case of protect President Biden and his party, which ABC and the other corporate media is heavily invested in doing. In less than 2 years under Biden, it is estimated that 6 million foreign nationals have illegally entered this country, along with a record amount of deadly narcotics. The Biden policy is scandalous, period. Back after this. Many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you can trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. All dry and good travel Tuesday and Wednesday. It's Thursday. We need to watch for snow by the afternoon and the evening. So Tuesday, a low of 29, a high of 42, and partly cloudy. Mostly cloudy Wednesday, a low of 26 and a high of 38. And then Thursdays of the day, we watch for snow in the afternoon to evening. It will turn much, much colder and very windy as well as we get a blast of Arctic air coming our way late week. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
A U.S. Supreme Court justice halts the ending of Title 42. This is getting really confusing. And, of course, I'm sure you've heard the big headlines that the January 6th Commission January 6th Committee has referred criminal charges to the Department of Justice. What does that actually mean? It means a lot of political theater is what that actually means, but we'll bring you up to date. Love to get your thoughts on that. What a way to go into the holidays with more nonsense from Washington, D.C. Good morning. I'm Mike Ferguson. Speaking of the Washington, D.C. nonsense, we had a conversation with one of the good ones who's fighting against it, and that's Congressman Mike Bost out of Illinois. He was with us on Monday's program. Good to chat with him once again. So we got his take on where things are as far as, Democrats trying to lock down and lock in all their huge spending and, some of these investigations that the Republicans want to get to. And here's the update that the congressman had for us.
It seemed like once it was confirmed that you all were getting the majority in the U.S. House come January, it just looked like, okay, well, Kevin McCarthy is the new speaker, but there's a little bit of a small revolt going on. What's your take on getting a speaker decided and in House in place and should Republicans just move forward with Kevin McCarthy?
The Republicans should move forward with Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy has been working with this. He put a plan together. And I'm going to tell you that, in our conference, we voted him and he received over 80% of the vote. That's the way that works. And then we all are supposed to unite and move forward. And these five that are talking about not voting, and remember the Biggs is remember, he's the only one of the five that's ever been in the majority. The other four have never been in the majority. They don't understand that we have to govern when you're in the majority. You can be in the minority and say no. Then and most times that's what happens. Then all of a sudden you get dropped in and now it's okay, I'm not in charge of what I'm going to do. But instead, Kevin McCarthy put together a plan. We're similar to the contract with America. It is the commitment to America. All the list of things that we need to do. One is repeal the 87,000 IRS employees. Two is start working on the border. Three, work on the economy and fuel prices and getting things back in order the way they need to be. But the thing is, these five are, and if you ask them what the plan is, they don't have a plan. So in a slim majority, we've got to stay together. Let me tell you who all are the people that are pushing these five to come back into the fold to make sure we can do it. President Trump appealed to him himself. Jim Jordan signed a letter with me and others that are chairman to-be of committees saying, look, we ran, the people have given us this position, we need to move forward. Every day that we delay just going ahead and moving forward, this takes the eye off the ball and does not allow us to hit the ground running as soon as January 3rd rolls around. It's a case where you've got you've got a very small group of people that I don't know what their end game is or what they're playing for. And when I tell you, so even Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke out in support. And I'll tell you, I can tell you some things that have happened in the conference as we talk to work on the rules and everything like this as this group continues to complain. But Marjorie Taylor Greene got up and gave a very impassioned speech to the conference on why it was she was supporting Kevin McCarthy and why it was we needed to unite together. Immediately after her, Nancy Mace got up, and Nancy Mace started, here's something that doesn't happen very often, and as a caucus we know that. She says Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene agree on something. And then she went on to give an impassioned speech as well. So I know what I have to do. I have to vote. I'm going to vote for Kevin. And one thing too is these five, only one of them has ever understood that you got to stand up and say the name on record of who you're voting for. It isn't a secret ballot. And that's why and sometimes I hear Gibbs right now say that he's got 30 votes. Well, if he does, the other 25 are keeping very quiet. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think the pressure's getting on him pretty bad now.
Good morning, Mike. Gabe Pfeiffer here. Now, help us do a little level setting here. So we understand what our expectations should be. We know GOP's got the House, pretty much that's it. So what should we expect for the economy, for spending, inflation, energy, all of those things? We know it's limited, but what can we look forward to actually happening?
Well, there's several things. One, remember the House controls the purse, and whenever I said that about not therefore, if they can keep in law that they want to hire 87,000 IRS agents, but if you don't put the budget together and put the line item in there, that won't happen. Now, the concern I have right now is what they're going to do in the Omni bill that they're trying to pass right now, which has never been done in a veto session before, I'm sorry, a lame duck session before. But what you can expect us to do is have oversight. There will be oversight on border and bringing everyone to bear what it is that's going on at the border, come to the realization that it makes national news. When you do that, it stirs the people up more. As far as we're going to bring and remember, this is each separate committees. The oversight on the Hunter Biden laptop and the concern they have there. You can see that there'll be oversight also on the issues that are surrounding the non-issuing of permits to drill for oil and the concerns that we have there. That's just the oversight side. As far as the legislative side, what we will do is we'll move forward with legislation that, one, will stimulate the economy that we think we can do. Now, my big fear is like I said, if they pass this omnibus bill this week, which they're talking about doing, that's going to be another big spending bill on top of the Build Back Not So Better bill. And by doing that, what they're going to do is they'll drive the economy into an even worse state, and I think will truly drive us into a deeper recession. But we have to make sure that we're sending clear bills over to the Senate the American people want. Then the Senate can deal with that majority on what they want to do with it. If they block it, then they have to answer to their people. If they pass it and then the president vetoes it, it sends a clear message to people on how we're trying to govern.
Good morning, Mike. This is Ken Williams. Former President Trump, he endorsed Kevin McCarthy because I think he even saw that splintering the party is just not a good thing for the power of the party. I mean, it's just going to be detrimental to him. And do you think there'll be voices to get to those five people and encourage them to vote for McCarthy?
I think you're hearing it right by what you just said. These are people who, have supported our Freedom Caucus's position. I support a lot of the Freedom Caucus's position. I'm just not willing to blow the world up to get it done. And I also have been in the majority and in the minority. And what many of even my own members on my committee don't understand is the bright side about the majority is you don't allow bad things to get to the floor. That's a good thing. You can stop it that way. And you've got to have experience and understand how to use that majority to your advantage. So here's what we've got. We've got even their strongest allies of the Freedom Caucus talking to their own Freedom Caucus members, because all five of you are Freedom Caucus members. We are a thin majority. Let us explain to you what has to be done. This is not wise. Why in the world are you wanting to fight Republicans when we just went head to head to the Democrats to get control? Now we have control. Why do you want to send this message to those people who are independent voters that are midline voters that gave us the majority, to give them an option to say, wow, Republicans can't govern? That's not a good thing. And I think that's what's happening right now. They're receiving pressure. Like I said earlier, I'm not the one putting pressure on them. I did sign on to the letter and everything like that. I have talked to them, and there's only one of them in there that surprises me. I really thought that I didn't think Ralph Norman would be on this group to do this. And he and I are close friends, and I've tried to talk to him. But you're going to see pressure. There's already been a lot of inside pressure that people don't realize, but now you're seeing outside pressure. When you see someone like Trey Gowdy on his show last night, bring them up, who lived through this, by the way. Remember when Boehner stepped down, and it was supposed to be Kevin, and then this group rose up against Kevin. Trey was on the list, And Trey got up before the conference and said, no, we're staying united. And whether this time it was behind Paul because Kevin had stepped down. And he said, we're staying united. He said, and I'm going to tell you, he said, I think all the world of all of you, but I'd never be your speaker. I don't want to do that to myself or anybody else. So, I mean, that he was real clear on his show last night. So now you've got media, you've got former president, you've got I think Mick Mulvaney, former chief of staff, former leaders of the Freedom Caucus, talking to them. So we'll see how it plays out here over the next week.
All right, Congressman Mike Bost, as always, appreciate the update. I'm sure we're not going to talk to you before the weekend again, so Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Merry Christmas.
We've got the news roundup coming your way. Going to kind of touch on some of the great big issues. And then, you know what? Have your cup of coffee now. Get ready to call 314-912-1019 because I want to get your reaction. You've got a Supreme Court justice who says Title 42, you know what? That's going to stick around for at least a little bit longer. Obviously, the J6 committee refers, the headlines say, refers criminal charges. Well, all they can do is basically hand over some papers and go, here you go, please do something. It's kind of the same thing as us calling the police whether we have a case or not. So there's a lot to cover here on this Tuesday. So good morning. Appreciate you making News Talk STL part of your day. And we'll get to that news roundup in about 4 minutes right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
While you're suspended there, she evaluates your heart's condition.
Is the path to business prosperity to find your best clients?
Bongino.
In other words, people with big voices like News Talk STL, and then to kick them off the platform and attack them for barely stating an opinion?
Weekdays at 11.
Do you think that's an effective business model?
On News Talk STL.
After I got out of the Marine Corps, coming back home, it was just a mental breakdown for me. I was on the verge of giving up. That chapter, that season in my life was over. Now what? Who was I? That's what I kept asking myself. The pressure to have it all together, to heal, to quiet down the monsters inside, it was too much. I lost it. I had heard about the Wounded Warrior Project. I had seen the logo and that visual of a warrior carrying another warrior. The programs that the Wounded Warrior Project offers, it's not just the veteran themselves, it's their whole family. It brings it all together. We have scars that we carry, and just because the scars are there doesn't mean that we're any less than what we were. Right now, I'm the best version that I ever have been of myself. I can embrace the brokenness.
You wouldn't go into battle alone. You don't have to fight this alone. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/notalone.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home. Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill? Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. The Vic Porcelli Show. Columbo and Katie. Jones and Arps.
Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble.
Subscribe and watch.
News Talk STL.
false statements, and assisting in an insurrection.